Hello and welcome everyone to League of Europe Division 4 for round number 5. One of the most prestigious rounds on the League of Europe Season 5 calendar. We're heading to Monaco for this one. It's going to be myself, QVR Packer, taking you through main comms tonight. And alongside me for the 5th time this season is Excel Gary. How's it going, Gary?
Not doing too bad. Pleasure as always to be alongside you commentating over this division. And really looking forward to this. Of course, like you said, Monaco, probably the most difficult track these guys are going to race around this season. This track is going to really separate the men from the boys. It takes a lot of consistency, pace, and overall just not putting in the barriers realistically. So really looking forward to it. I'm expecting a lot of drama. And hopefully it doesn't disappoint. Of course, Monaco, not the greatest track for racing. So hopefully we get a bit of drama instead of racing.
Yeah, most definitely. All 19 corners of the Monaco circuit are ready for the drivers. Hopefully, maybe we could get a little bit of rain to spice a few things up. But before we head into this qualifying session, I think the drivers are going to begin to ready up just now. Sam T and Goldie are tied at the top of the standings. Goldie only scoring 1 point last time out and still tied Sam T. But Sam T, as still a reserve, was not available for the last time out. Jav in the chat, as always. Heated is in second place, 4 points off of the leaders, picking up his first podium of the season last time out in Russia. Storm, Frosty Calvin, and Major Falcon, and the next two drivers. Storm on 36, and the last two that I just mentioned are on 34 points. Major Falcon taking the win last time out, as well as TG Storm taking second place, also to mention that. Forza Brennan is 1 point behind those guys. He's on 33. Ryan B on 32 in 8th place currently. ISRL Jordan, who is tipped, I believe, by Killer's Instincts to have a good race here, is in P9 in the standings on 30 points. So yeah, only 13 points separating the top 9, which is kind of crazy to think about. Brandon on 25 points, only scoring in one race, and that was a win in Canada for round number 3. Alt Maverick on 18 points, Bag of Bones on 17, Unai Bosnia on 15, Excel Cali on 14. Those are all the drivers who are on double-digit points, the top 14 for the Division 4 standings. Ramp on 8, Mech Kieran on 5, as well as Poldy Pose is on 5 and tied with Harry Noarg as well. And then Camel and Marty are the last two drivers to score on 3 and 1 point. So this round could be absolutely crucial for the championship, considering how close these drivers are.
Yeah, like you were saying, the top 9 separated by 13 points, I think it is. And it's just incredibly close. I think a lot of people, you say like Sam T and Goldie, they've had a few disappointing races. A lot of people have scored no points in like 1 or 2 races, which means the point scoring tally obviously is very low. It's easily the lowest score in divisions so far across all 5 divisions. So hopefully if someone can find a bit of consistency, they can get their title charge really on the go. Take a big step in the right direction. So looking at the top 3 really, or even top 10 in the standings really, as any of those guys can definitely win a race, as a few have shown this season. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. Just pulling up those Killer Instincts now, as well as the Jav Judgments new for the round number 5 in Monaco. So for Division 4, as it was predicted, it was ISRL Jordan predicted for a strong result. And from Jav, he's predicting Sam T, who's been leading the championship since round 1, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am, but yeah, he's been leading the championship since the first round of the season. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these drivers will be able to do. It does look like we have a full dry qualifying session here, but obviously the conditions in Monaco are always, well, not always, but they can be pretty questionable at times. That's a Haas driver getting out of the pit lane quickly. I think it's going to be Major Falcon, last time's winner.
Yeah, and of course this track has lots of notorious corners, and we'll see as we go through the lap. But this is going to be a very tough test for these drivers. I expect the quality pace to be a lot slower than what they were doing in practice, just purely on the fact of nerves, not wanting to get damaged and stuff like that. So I'm expecting pole time to be around a 1 minute 9, mid 9, maybe even a high 9, maybe even a 10, given all depends really how confident these guys are around here. But I think Major Falcon will be the first one to set a lap when we do get going. Of course, if I'm not mistaken, he did take pole position in the last round at Russia. Unfortunately, he did not get the win though, but or he did get the win. I can't really remember to be honest, but yeah, he's going to be the first one to take us around this very infamous track.
Yeah, Jav pointing out in the chat that there is going to be no rain for this round. Thank you for taking all of that time because I had a few people walking in my room. But yeah, Major Falcon is going to be the first driver to set a lap time, if he does set a lap time in this session into Sandoval. Turn 1, absolutely infamous in the F1 games. Just for the race engineer, Beau Rivage, turn 2, that little left king, and now into Massenet, turn 3. Now up a little bit of a dip, and then going over the hill at Casino Square. Mirabeau down towards turn 5. First sector split is purple for the Haas driver. He is the first driver out on track. The lowest hairpin, very, very easy to put it into the wall. One of the slowest corners on the Formula One calendar through Mirabeau, lower Mirabeau and through Portier into the tunnel through turns 9 here. That little right kink. It is flat out in these 2020 Formula One cars. Breaking into the Nouvelle chicane, turn 10, and through turn 11. That little left kink looked pretty decent, but it is a banker lap, and there's quite a lot of track evolution here through to back across the middle sector split. 51.9 for the Haas driver. Now into the 2 swimming pool chicanes. A little bit of contact there on the wall at turn 16. Now breaking into turn 17. La Ras Casa. Very difficult to make an overtake there, but it can be done through 18 and 19. Anthony Nogues and across the start-finish line. What is it going to be for the Haas driver? 9.7 for him. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to be shaping up, but right now we have Excel Cali, the next driver, to to set the next lap time.
I think that's quite a decent banker by Major Falcon there, 1 minute 9.7. I was expecting Paul maybe, as I said a minute ago, maybe a mid 9, maybe a low 9. It depends really on how confident these guys are around the track, as Goldie goes third with 1 minute 10.9. Oh, Frosty Calvin, goes pole position by 3/10 with 1 minute 9.4. That's a really good, strong lap by the AlphaTauri, and really put his mark down at the first run. That's a great lap by him.
Yeah, the 2 McLarens are about to cross the line. He goes on to 5th, and championship leader tied championship leader Sam T goes up into P5. So a pretty decent lap from him. I'm sure you want to be higher up the field, especially since it is Monaco, the most important qualifying session of the season. So very difficult to overtake. You can just see just from looking at the profile of the circuit, it's going to be almost impossible to make an overtake here. Ooh, United Bosnia having a big snap out of Anthony Nogues there and on to finishing his lap 13.2. Might have possibly backed off on that one, making a mistake just possibly there. Camel 52.4 across the middle sector split. He goes up into P5 for the Ferrari driver. I think that's the 2 racing points coming into the pit lane. Actually, no, Vagabond is going to be finishing this one. 51.7 across the middle sector split. Let's see what he did through the rest of through the final sector. P2 on the front row for the Racing Point driver by 17 thousandths of a second. So it looked like a pretty decent lap from him. As Brandon goes on to pole position by half a tenth there. So yeah, Brandon responding to Frosty Calvin's provisional pole position.
Yeah, that's a great lap by Brandon. Times are a little bit quicker than I expected, to be honest, and of course Brandon won Canada 2 rounds ago, so only points he scored this season, so he's hoping to put a few more points next to his name, and that's a great lap. And I think we're going to have a bit of a lull now as people come into the pits. Or United Bosnia was on a lap, but I think he's lost a bit of his front wing just going off the way the car is reacted, so I expect him to pit.
Ooh, Jab is out in the pit lane.
They must have retired again. That's interesting.
That is weird. Okay, well, I guess we won't question Jav, because who can question Jav realistically? But yeah, he's going to be out of the qualifying session, not going to be able to set a lap time in this one. Why? I can't go higher than Camel with my L2. There we go. Okay, game glitch. We'd love to see it. But yeah, Bag of Bones. After putting himself provisionally on the second row and Brandon improving onto provisional pole position, he's going to be coming into the pits. Both of those 2 main names that were just mentioned will be into the pit lane. He did as well, who also improved. He improved up to P6. I think he improved by 0.601. Actually, yes, Jab just reminded me in the comments that he's going back to his race plan, and I can read that out from DMs right now. This is actual quotes from the main man Javier. Ever heard of tortoise and the hare. That's me today. Bleep that out. Qualifying, start at the back and take it slow. Points guaranteed at the end. So yes, he is taking that very, very literally and retiring in the qualifying session without setting a lap time. So he will most definitely be starting at the back if these drivers can get lap times out on the board. Marty out of Anthony Nogues right there across the start-finish line. Eventually, he'll get there. 12-7 for the Renault driver, and he goes into second to last, just 5/10 in front of United Bosnia.
Yeah, and we have everyone coming back out of the pits now to get their second run. It'd be interesting to see what tyre allocation people have gone on to. If they're going softer, are they going to go for 4 runs, or are they going to stick with balance and just go for 3? Because, of course, it is a very quick lap here. It's only 69 seconds. So, yeah, if they want to get in 4 runs, they could quite easily do that. So, it'd be interesting to see how they approach that. As I'm seeing a lot of carbon fibre across the track already through the hairpin. So, someone's definitely lost their wing. As I'm just trying to see who is the closest starter. I think Frosty Calvin, who was currently P2, was about to start his lap into Sandoval. Taking very nicely up to Mirabeau, the very infamous corner, and then into Casino Square. Very close to the apex or the barriers. Got to do it at Monaco if you want to find the time. It's the only way to do it. Now into Mirabeau. He's 800s up on his time so far, so that would put him on pole. It just needs to be very careful now into the hairpin. It takes a wide line, doesn't use as much of the curb as he probably could. And now down into Portier. Very tricky corner, doesn't want to get too close to the wall. He takes it very nicely. And now the infamous tunnel, which will take us down then to the Novel chicane. Very easy to invalidate here. He wants to make sure he gets a lot of the curb. We don't want to take too much because he will invalidate, and that's exactly what he's done there. And that's unlucky for him because he's done a very good lap till then. So he's probably going to back off, maybe go into pits, or maybe go. He was 4/10 up on his time, so there's plenty of time in the bag for him. So that's just a shame that he had to invalidate.
Yeah, most definitely. But when you're at Monaco, you're pushing to the absolute limit. You're either going to find yourself invalidating or you're going to find yourself in a wall if you do go over that limit. So, yeah, Frosty Calvin just a little bit over that limit, just a little bit too eager to find that time, put himself on provisional pole position. He only needed a 10th out of the 4 that he was up by, but as Alt Maverick goes into P9, so he's going to be second to last out of the top 10 drivers. I think that's Ramf coming across the line in the Ferrari. He improves 2 positions, so we'll go up into P12. Excel Cali, the next driver to cross the line. He was up by 4/10 coming out of Tobacco. Let's see what he can do in that final sector across the line, past these pit garages in Excel Cali. We'll go up into P11. P11 actually could be a really strong place to start for a few drivers because you can get onto the alternate compound from the soft tires, which all the top 10 will be starting on at this point. Campbell goes into P6, and McLaren following him. I think that might have been Sam T. I think he is going to be starting another one. I think he invalidated. Brandon on a good lap. Is that the Renault across the line? He improves by 1/10.5, so now extending his advantage to 0.2 of a second up at the front of the grid. So yeah, Brandon looking like a very early contender for a possible Monaco Grand Prix win, one of the most prestigious achievements on just in motorsport in general. It's on the Triple Crown, win a Monaco Grand Prix or win a Drivers' Championship. So let's see if Brandon can convert that provisional pole position. I think Storm just went up into P12, last round's pole sitter and second place finisher. So not the greatest for him. I do believe he still has that hand injury that he was talking about in Canada, or the last 2 rounds, as United Bosnia goes in P17 and cuts turn 1 just a little bit.
I'm just been on board with Heat here as he comes through Anthony knows the final corner. Very difficult traction, takes nicely. He's up, I think he was up nearly 3/10 on his time as he crossed sector the split, and he's gone up to P5 with 1 minute and 9%. He found loads of time in that last sector, so really good lap by Heat to knock himself or bring himself up to P5. The Williams boys, 5th and 8th at the moment, they always seem to be very close to each other, and this week is no different. And Heated at the moment, having the edge on his teammate, but still plenty of time in the session to turn that around. As Brandon goes even quicker on his lap. That's a back-to-back lap, and he found marginal time. Did a 1 minute 9.1. That's a ridiculous lap, and that puts him 3/10 clear of the field. That's a really good lap by the Renault driver.
Yeah, that puts him right now on the Division 3 grid in, I believe, P4, just in front of Excel Brie. So obviously there's there's just 6 minutes left in their session, 7 minutes left in our session. So still a lot of time for drivers to improve on those current fastest lap times for them. Marty's up by 1.2 seconds in the first sector. So Obviously, a 12.7, not the most competitive lap time, but looking to improve on that, P16, looking to find the time, or possibly find the time where he has lost it to his teammate. I think the two Williams, Heated has just entered the pit lane. Goldie looking to start a lap. Joint championship leader with Sam T. They're both 8th and 13th, so not exactly where they would have wanted to be starting in this one. United Bosnia has invalidated, is going to be starting another lap. A few drivers, or most drivers on outlaps or just in the pits in general, but I think Bagabonds is going to be the next driver to cross the line. He was a tenth and a half down out at the back. Let's see what he could have done in those final few corners. There's yellow flag in the third sector. Bagabonds does a good final sector, but not enough to improve on his final lap time. The two Alpha Towers are going to be the next drivers. I think Forza Brennan is just in front of his teammate, but he hasn't validated, so let's go to Frosty Calvin. Has he found the time? He is half a second up. I think he's going to get provisional pole position, depending on the final sector, an 8.6 for Frosty Calvin. He found another 2/10 in that final sector, so a great lap there, and that would have put him second in the Division 3 grid. I think only a 10th off of current pole position setter TGD Damon. So yeah, Frosty Calvin looking very, very strong here in Monaco.
That's a great lap. I was on board with him towards the end of the race, or end of the lap, sorry. He did get held up a little bit by the Renault of Brandon into the last sector, so there's definitely more time for him there. That's half a second clear now of his nearest competitor. And this is Monaco. This is what really happens around Monaco a lot of time. There's a big field spread. It's all about confidence at this track, and some people are Monaco merchants, and maybe Frost Calvin is a Monaco merchant, if he doesn't mind me calling him that. So that's a fantastic lap by him, and that's really solidified his chances of getting pole there for the time being.
I wouldn't say Frosty Calvin he's more of a quality merchant than a Monaco merchant per se, because the two AlphaTauris.
You can't argue.
Yeah, the two AlphaTauris have had amazing qualifyings this season. I think Russia was the first time that they looked not one of the better teams in qualifying. So the AlphaTauris once again delivering on. Well, I don't want to say that promise, but they're delivering on their qualifying performance throughout the rest of the season. First and sixth right now, as well. Just Frosty Calvin, just a great lap there. He's leading if he can get that leader gap up by half a second. Wow, half a second on the driver behind him, Brandon. But I think, a few drivers right now, or most of the drivers right now in the pit lane, a few drivers on flying laps, including Sam T, as well as Ramp, I think is going to be coming into the pit lane. So let's get on board with Sam T. He's coming through the final sector just now.
Yeah, he's got 3 times up on his Delta split as he goes through up into Raskas. This is going to be a decent lap by him if he can hold it together now. We've got one more corner to go. Anthony knows very difficult on traction out of there. He takes it quite cautiously and nicely, to be fair to him. And where's this going to put him up? This might bring him up the order. It puts him P7. He found a chunk of time in that last stage. He found half a second. That puts him up into P7. So that's a really good lap by him, and it gives him a chance. He's in contention. What's happened?
I saw a yellow flag. I thought maybe Storm had spun, but no, he's just getting out of the way of one of the Renault drivers. Both Renault drivers are on outlap, so so Storm just taking it, keeping it safe and keeping out of the way of drivers, possibly on laps. Just looking toward the chat, Spag is in a party with Goldie. Since Spag is not going to be racing tonight, I think he has his wheel has been absolutely shattered, or just broken in general. So he's going to be in a party with Goldie. Also pointing out the Williams boys, looking for 1 million pounds of damage or less, optimally, or 0 if you want to take it that way. Possibly pick up a race win if you can just stay out of the chaos. Sam T looks to be he's not going to be on another lap. But yeah, just looking for a driver on a lap right now. I think Heat is going to be following him. I think the two Renaults are going to be on lap right now. I think Marty is going to be leading them away.
Yeah, Brandon's also on a lap into the hairpin. I don't know if he's the leading. I think he is the leading car on a lap at the moment, so we'll just stick on board with him. He was marginally down on his first sector split, as he goes through the tunnel now. He's got a lot of time to find if he wants to be a contender to Frosty Calvin's time. He seems untouchable at the moment. Now he goes into the Nervo chicane and takes it nicely, very quick through there. Now the infamous Tabac, probably my favourite corner of this track, and he's still down on his time, so he's got to find a lot of time in the last sector if he wants to get pole. He's very quick through the swim pool chicane, or now into Raskas, and Anthony knows what can he do. That would seem like a really good last sector, so I'm sure he's found some time there, but how much has he found? It's 1 minute 9 dead. He found about 2/10 in that last sector, but still not enough to get anywhere near Frosty Calvin's time.
He's still more. I think he's 3 or 4 tenths. I think it's 3.5. 3.5 tenths off of currently what is currently pole position here in Division 4. Frosty Calvin with an absolute stunner of a lap time. The two Ferraris are going to be on an outlet right now. They're both in the third sector, as well as the Alfa Romeo, I think that is of Ryan B. So yeah, most drivers are on outlaps right now. Spectron Don is on a lap. He was improved 3/10 in the first sector. So coming through the lowest hairpin, he does have a bunch of time to be able to find. Marty's getting out of the way. He improved. I'm not sure if he improved, but he's in P13 right now. All Maverick is on a lap going into the Nouvelle chicane. Ryan B as well in the first sector. Goldie through turn 1. Camel in Massenet. I'm just looking for the driver who's furthest on a lap. Heated has just gone through Sandoval. Brandon, who is invalidated and improved on his previous lap, is not on one right now. The two Racing Points, I believe, no, Vagabonds is going to be following him in behind going into Sandoval. So let's try and get with the driver who's furthest on a lap. I think it's going to be Spectron Don as the McLaren has just spun. I think that might have been Alt Maverick. Yeah, that was Alt Maverick who spun going through La Rascas, probably hitting the wall on the right side. Spectron Don goes up into P7 as Brandon retires from the session. All Maverick retiring in the pit lane as well. Major Falcon just going to be starting a lap there. I think that's Marty, but he is backed off. So the next driver will be Frosty Calvin starting a lap with just around 35 seconds once he crosses the line. Sam T is going to be ending his lap as well. So let's get on board with Ryan B. The Alfa Romeo to the line. He's derating across the line, but it's a 10.1, finds a 10th, and goes up into P11. So the best of the rest for the time being. Camel goes up into P3 in the Ferrari, so a good lap for him. Ramp slides his way into the top 10. So pretty decent for him as well. One of the Red Bulls, I think that's United Bazian next across the line, 41.4. So he backed off. He's going to be going for another one. A little bit of a gap to the next driver. Excel Cali has come into the pit lane, so he's not going to be finishing that one. Bag of Bones coming through in the final sector now, just into Rascas, turn 17. He's going to be pitting, so he's not going to be finishing that one. Forza Brennan as well, just in behind. He's going to be pitting as well. Storm is finished. So just looking for the next driver. United Bosnia is on one, so it's going to be Spectron Don, who's invalidated or has backed off as well. So a few drivers just backing off, not going to be finishing this lap time. So Major Falcon, the first driver in a while. The next one to come out of Anthony Noakes and onto the pit straight. What can he do once he crosses that line? He's P5 right now. Can he improve? He finds 2/10 and goes onto the second row. He only finds one position, but that could be absolutely crucial for the rest of his race. Frosty Calvin, provisional pole. What can he do? He improves by a 1/10.5. He goes on to an 8.5. That's absolutely insane from the AlphaTauri driver. I think United Bosnia is going to be the last driver to finish a lap. He was up by a 10th coming through the middle sector. He's in P18 right now. I'm not too sure if he can find any more time on it. A little bit wide through Anthony No, so not going to be the greatest run to the line, but he's going to be the last driver to cross that start-finish line, across the line. He finds 0.8 of a second in that final sector, but stays P18. So it's Frosty Calvin on pole position by an absolute mile.
I think he would have got pole in Division 3 for when I had a quick look at the straight. I'm not too sure what they did to the end, but that is a ridiculous lap. He's absolutely wiped the whole grid with that lap time. The only driver into the 8th and comfortably into the 8th, might I add. But really good qualifying, very close. Besides Frosty Calvin, obviously. But Sam T only started 9th, and Goldie, the two championship leaders, 9th and 11th. So not really where they want to be. Goldie on poor man's pole position in 11th. Be interested to see what he can do from there and what his strategy will be. But this is a great opportunity for drivers like Frosty Calvin and Brandon to get a good point haul for the championship. So plenty to fight for still. And the easy part is over now. Qualifying is over. It's now 39 laps of hell for these drivers, and I don't feel sorry for them at all.
Just looking at qualifying, Calvin would have been on pole position by 0.003 of a second in Division 3. So a great lap from the AlphaTauri driver, once again solidifying the fact that the AlphaTauri seem to be quality merchants throughout this season so far. Frosty Calvin, I think his highest position is second in Canada. The other AlphaTauri driver, Forza Brennan, the two AlphaTauris are just 5th and 7th in the championship. Forza Brennan picking up a win in Britain. So the two AlphaTauris have good pace on their tracks, but they seem to be really, really strong in qualifying.
Yeah, they seem to be the team to beat in qualifying 100%. Frosty Calvin, of course, had a couple of unlucky incidents, of course, in a couple of races, but and Brendan has had a few disconnections, which is sort of out of his hands, but nonetheless, they haven't performed in the races as well as they have in qualifying. So maybe they can change this, especially Frosty Calvin. He clearly has the pace. He would be someone that I consider a championship contender, and he just hasn't really performed in the races. So hopefully he can change that today here. And what better place to do it than Monaco? And just having a look at the strategy outside the top 10. A few mediums, a few softs. And United Bosnia, the only man gone on to a set of hards. Not sure about going on to the hards, but yeah, Goldie on mediums, Ryan B sticking with softs. Then you have Maverick on mediums, Callie and Marty on softs, Storm on mediums, Jordan on softs, United Bosnia on hards, and Jav on the mediums, rounds off the grid. So split strategies, very much split at the back of the field. So be interested to see how they get on and how these strategies are going to work out for these guys.
Yeah, most definitely. Frosty Calvin right now leading the train on the formation lap through Portier, through turn 8. Let's see what Frosty Calvin can do. It's probably, if you are in that pole position, as long as you get a pretty decent start, you can lead away and, excuse me, you can lead from lap 1. And if you get the pit stop correct and not come out in a bunch of traffic, like the people who are starting on the mediums, as well as United Bosnia starting on the hard compound tires. If you get that pit stop right, you can just lead away and you can go as slow as you want because it's almost impossible to pass here. So yeah, Frosty Calvin has a task on his hands to keep it out of the wall, but also to keep up that pace and try and keep. I think this is going to be his first. This is going to be his first race win of the season, if he is able to convert it from pole position. So let's see what he can do in
Got
this.
a long way before that.
Yeah, 39 laps is going to be an absolute task. Jav and United Bosnia are going very, very slow in this formation lap. Just want to mention that. But yeah, Frosty Calvin is slotting into his grid slot on the inside of turn 1 here, just right next to that pit exit. Pit exit here could be quite the scene once those pit stops come into effect.
Yeah, it can be quite dangerous, to be fair, when drivers coming out and others going down the straight.
So yeah, Jav, I'm just scraping the wall there a little bit. I'm sure the AI not hoping to give Jav wing damage, but yeah, Jav has settled into the final grid slot on the grid, P number 19. But let's see what Frosty Calvin can do from P number 1. Just waiting for the 5 lights. They are on now. 3, 4, 5 lights. A very, very long hold for the Division 4 drivers here for round number 5, the Monaco Grand Prix. But it looks like Frosty Calvin is going to be leading away, but Brendan tries around the outside. The Ferrari of Camel is on the inside. I think Brandon might have just picked up wing damage. Yeah, he has left end plate damage, but the Ferrari and the Haas going side by side up the hill, but it's a virtual safety car. Varanf has picked up a 5-second time penalty a little bit further down the field. There's a little bit of carbon fiber, but I think the only incident there, actually no, all Maverick has left end plate damage. I think Brandon MP2 has left end plate damage. The Ferrari, I think of Ramp is missing both end plates if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, a lot of contact between the drivers a little bit further down the field as All Maverick picks up a 5-second time penalty for contact with the Alfa Romeo in front of him. But yeah, Frosty Calvin leads away from pole position. It is a virtual safety car right now, so the field will start to slow down and we can avoid the chaoticness that is lap 1 at the Lowe's hairpin where most drivers are almost stopped. But yeah, Frosty Calvin leads away and defended almost perfectly from Brandon going into turn 1.
Yeah, this Brendan with that wing damage is going to have huge ramifications for the rest of the grid if he decides to stay out as we go back to green flag racing. Because with that damage, Frosty Calvin can build a gap, and if the longer Brandon stays out, the bigger that gap can be, and that's going to be a great buffer to him if Brandon decides to stay out. It'll be interesting to see what he does, and he is staying out, so that's going to be music to his ears as he can pull away now, and everyone else is going to be stuck behind the Renault Brandon, so this is going to make it a very interesting race right now. So if I was Frosty Calvin, I'd really get the hammer down as a few people pit, of course, with the damage at the start of the race.
Marty just picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. It is pretty easy to speed into the pit lane, actually. Depending on how hard you are pushing, going into that pit lane, trying to make up as much time as possible. Frosty Calvin, purple first sector, but that is absolutely, expected from the AlphaTauri driver. The drivers who did come into the pit lane are Spectre and Don, who has decided to fit the hard compound tires. Alt Maverick, Marty, and Ramp have all fit the medium compound tires down at the back of the field. The undercut here is absolutely massive because those drivers on the soft compound tires, they're going to be pitting around lap 7 or 8, I think, either for mediums or hards. Let's see what those drivers will decide to go on to for the rest of this race. Possibly a few drivers two stopping here. I'm not exactly sure that's the Not the greatest strategy.
I don't think that's the greatest strategy here.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
considering,
you just
yeah.
look at the gap already that Frosty Calvin's able to make up on Brandon because of the damage is ridiculous. He's got a 1.6 second gap already to the driver behind, and the longer this goes on, the bigger the gap's going to be, and he's going to be able to get away with the undercut. He won't be prone to the undercut because he'll have a big enough margin. So he's doing a great job at the moment, and everyone else is just stuck behind Brandon at the moment. Saying that though, Brandon's not too slow on those with that damage, as I think Bag of Bones nearly had a look up into Casino Square on Major Falcon, but of course it's notoriously difficult to overtake here, so he stays behind for the time being. But yeah, that gap at the front is only going to increase over the next few laps.
Yeah, right now Jav really executing on his race strategy, I want to say. He's past United Bosnia, though, as Alt Maverick and Spectron Don. I think both Red Bulls just having issues. Because Spectron Don is letting, I think he just let Marty through. Maybe he has wing damage. Yeah, I think he has wing damage. That could possibly be why him and Ramp have just hit each other. So the Red Bull drivers has full front wing damage, and now Ramp has missing an end plate as well. The second time they're going to have to pit for fixing that damage. But yeah, Frosty Calvin away in the front of the race is leading by 1.6 seconds, but Brandon is pulling away from Camel. So Camel might have had the quality pace, but doesn't look quite like he has that race pace to stick with the top two. It'd be interesting to see what Brandon could do without the damage, but he's used all of his ERS. That could be a reason why he is pulling away. So when the driver's in behind, starting or trying to keep with that train, Brandon's going to drop down the order once he gets that front wing fixed. But what is the strategy going to be? Because Frosty Calvin is way out in front in the lead.
Well, Frosty Calvin can just react now to these guys. Whatever these guys do, Frosty Calvin can just do it a lap later. Frosty Calvin doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't have to be the guy making all the decisions. If someone tries an undercut, he can just pit next lap because he has the gap right now. It'll be interesting. They'll probably come in the next 3 or 4 laps, I expect, given the slots can go quite a distance into the race, and want to make sure the mediums can make it to the end of the race. But just to know quickly, something to keep an eye on is Goldie up behind Sam T, the 2 championship leaders, 9th and 8th at the moment. As Sam T hits the wall out into the tunnel, and that's going to give him damage, and that's going to absolutely ruin his race, as that's going to give Goldie a great opportunity to get ahead and continue his charge on those mediums. So that seems like very big damage for Sam T, and he has no left end plate, so I would expect him to pit maybe soon, or he's going to stick it out. It'd be interesting to see, but that gives Goldie a great opportunity to get ahead of his championship competitor.
Yeah, this could be absolutely crucial in the championship. Any huge points gains are over the drivers around you in the championship, especially for the top 9. As Sam T pulls into the pit lane to get a new front wing, and will be going onto a medium compound. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to get those tires to the end of the race. They'll be struggling right at the very end, possibly going for another set of soft tires if there is a safety car, which could absolutely play into his hands for the rest of this race. Major Falcon, Bag of Bones heated, all super close out on track as Ramp is being lapped after picking up that wing damage. So not having the greatest start to his Monaco Grand Prix is the Ferrari driver. Does he still have that end plate damage? I think he might. No, he has pulled in the pit lane. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, he has fixed that wing damage, but the leaders are right up behind him. But Frosty Calvin still leading this race and is pulling away from Brandon, who actually shows really decent pace considering he's pulling away from Camel.
Yeah, definitely. He has a lot of pace in that car, even with damage, so he might not even decide to change the front wing, given that he's comfortably still in second place. He's not really feeling the pressure of Camel behind. Camel doesn't seem to really have an answer on these tyres anyway, for the time being. So if I was Brandon, I'd be tempted to just stick it out with the wing damage, given that his pace isn't terrible, but saying that he only has 6% ERS compared to Camel's 80%, so that's a huge difference. So Camel, if he really wanted to, he probably could overtake, but just buying his time, playing the long game, which is quite smart here at Monaco. But now Goldie's been unleashed from behind Sam T. Be interested to see how quickly he can get up into this. And if these next few laps are very important to Goldie if he wants to get a good result with his strategy, because if he can get close enough to this train when these guys pit, he's going to put himself in a great opportunity come later on in the race when he pits, or if a safety car decides to come out, and that would really throw a spanner into the works, because I think Sam T and XL Cali's into the pits, and he's gone on to a set of mediums. He's the first one to blink. So yeah, I expect to be pit stop time in between 7 and 8. I expect the whole field to be in. So yeah, keep an eye on the next few laps. I think the pit lane is going to get very busy.
Yeah, 10 out of the or 9 out of the top 10 drivers I would expect into the pit lane very, very soon. I think Sam T has just passed United Bosnia for P13. Bosnia seems to be struggling on those hard tires. Maybe he's picked up damage once, or I don't think he's picked up damage once again, but he has been struggling. Frosty Calvin on lap 6, deciding not to come into the pit lane. I don't think most drivers will be coming into the pit lane this lap. No, none of the top 7 will be into the pit lane. Let's see. Well, Goldie's going to stay out because he is on those medium tires, trying to pick up the most amount of time possible. Storm has just passed Jordan, who has actually completely lost his front wing in the 3rd sector. So that's definitely the reason why he's let the Mercedes driver through. So Jav just in behind him now, looking to pick up another position as All Maverick has picked up a 3-second time penalty behind Excel Cali. You just could barely see there on the screen that we just passed Jordan's front wing there, just after the first swimming pool chicane, in between that little gap between those two very, very quick left and right-hander, or left-right and right-left chicane. So yeah, Frosty Calvin once again leads away 4.1 seconds. Let's see what he can do on this, on the strategy, as well as Goldie, who's closed in almost a second already.
Yeah, Goldie's really flying on those softs at the moment, or medium at the moment, sorry, as some board with Frosty Calvin. He's really starting to pull away continuously, but rear's starting to give out a little bit. He's sliding a little bit through the swimming pool, so I expect him to pit very soon as he elects to stay out another lap. It can't be too much longer now for these drivers. Those softs must be screaming to come off as no one elects to pit. I'm surprised.
Ooh, actually heated us.
Yeah, pit. I think as Maverick's had another off, it's been a mare of a race for him down at Mirabeau. So, or Portier, sorry, he's not had the greatest of races. He's already a lap down nearly, I think. And yeah, just not going his way at the moment, unfortunately, for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, he seems to be really, really struggling. He's just picked up a 10-second time penalty for cutting the New Vale chicane with that damage. So maybe just fed up with this race already. It's only been he's only going on to lap 8 if you were to cross the start-finish line this time around. So yeah, both McLaren drivers not having the greatest of races, but right now Goldie looking to take the championship lead off of, All Maverick, as we expected. Safety car, he's retired at the final corner.
I don't know how he's done that. I'm on board. Yeah, I can see his car. He's lost his left tire. I'm not sure how that's happened, but it's gone. It is gone.
So we're going to get possibly a slight look on board with Frosty Calvin, but no, the car has retired.
Yeah, I expect everyone to pit
moved out of the way. But yeah, all the soft runners should be into the pit lane. I'm expecting maybe some of the medium runners going. Well, I guess they can't go on another set of mediums. But they have to pit, right? Like, this is another case of Russia in Division 2 where you have to pit, otherwise you just won't be able to make it back. Goldie stays out. Major Falcon has picked up a 5-second time penalty. All the soft runners are into the pit lane, understandably.
Camel's gone to hards.
Yeah, Camel has gone onto the hards, which is not... I don't think is the smartest decision for him, but everyone else besides him should be on the mediums. Yeah, everyone's going to be onto mediums. Ryan B serving a 5-second penalty. So right now, Frosty Calvin is in the net lead of the race because Goldie has not made his pit stop yet. So Frosty Calvin
missed a trick.
Yeah,
sorry, I think Goldie's messed up there. As you were saying, we had this situation in Division 2 at Russia, and it's a lot harder to overtake here at Monaco than it is at Russia. So yeah, he's going to be right at the back of the field when it comes to pit stop stages, and he's not going to gain that time back. So that's a big shame for him. I don't think that was the right... I think everyone pitted except him and Jav. Like, everyone else came into the pits, so yeah, it's not the greatest call by those two guys, I have to say.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about that Russia race, but we don't have to talk about it. But yeah, just to give an example, the top 4, I think there was a lap 1 safety car. Top 4 drivers stayed out in the softs, and everyone else behind pitted onto mediums. Either they had to pit from mediums to softs and then pit onto mediums again to go to the end of the race. But yeah, the top 4 drivers who stayed out, and as well the drivers who started on the mediums who also stayed out. I think it was the top 8, I want to say, all didn't pit. So the 4 soft runners, they pitted earlier on to the mediums and was able to make it to the end, but they got to the back of the train with about 3 or 4 laps left, and they just wasn't enough time or didn't have enough tire life to make the overtakes. As well, once again, it's a DRS train in Russia, so it's going to be almost impossible to overtake unless you're super, super aggressive and you have a huge pace advantage. The drivers who stayed on the mediums pit to the softs, and we were able to catch up to the drivers who pit from the softs to the mediums after the safety car. But once again, that was with like 2 laps left, so they had almost no time to get through the field, and then it just caused a huge amount of chaos towards the back of the field with 2 laps left. So I'm sure that was fun for Dan and Aiden in the commentary booth. But yeah, once again, I think Goldie as well as Jav have really missed an opportunity here.
Yeah, and this is the little things that are gonna cost Goldie a championship. He's just not the thinking straight. I don't think. You can see why he's stayed out. You can see why his thought process is to stay out, considering he's on the set of mediums. Maybe he's thinking he can pull a gap and do an overcut. I don't think it's gonna work, to be honest. Maybe he wants to clean air. I'm not too sure, but yeah, he's got to hope for another safety car. He's got to hope for something, because otherwise he's gonna lose out massively. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his thought process is with that decision. It's a real shame, because it's going to cost him a really good result. He was looking very strong till that safety car restart, or till that safety car came out. And another one is going to be Camel in P4, or net P3. Of course, we knew he was struggling earlier on behind Brandon, and on those hards, he's probably going to be even slower. And just a quick note, Brandon hasn't changed his front wing. He's kept with the damage, like I said, I think he would do. So he's committed to driving this whole race with a damaged front wing. And to be fair, his pace didn't look too bad earlier on, so it's not the worst idea in the world. But yeah, I think Camel's going to really struggle on those tires, even for warm-up and just overall pace in general. So he's probably going to get swamped at this safety car restart.
Yeah, Spag in the chat. I'm guessing he's being Goldie's race engineer for this one, so he was probably the main decider on whether to stay out or to
pit. He's a better race engineer then.
But yeah, anyways, once we stop just absolutely destroying Lenny, he said that Goldie needed to stay out because, well, the hards are going to be terrible. We can see what happens to Camel at
yeah.
on the safety car restart.
Terrible. The hards are a terrible tire, but you got to take track position over everything at this track.
Yeah,
especially this track. Maybe any other track, I could understand him staying out, not in Monaco. Because track position is key. You can have a tyre that's 2.5 laps slower. It doesn't matter. They're not overtaking you. We've seen it already. Brandon with damage has managed to maintain P2 for the whole race so far. So I think the William guys have missed a trick down there. And I don't mean to bash them. I'm just trying to say I just don't think it was the greatest call in the world. But hopefully it works out for them. We'll see. As I expect the safety car to come in this lap maybe. Well, I say that ramp is very far away. But I think we've already had nearly 3 laps on the safety car. So I do expect it to come back in this lap.
The race director will tell us whether the safety car will be in or not after or at that middle sector split line. To be honest, it surprised me when I was looking today. I thought the middle sector split was right just before to back, because that's where it was on the previous games, unless I'm completely delusional, which I can be. But yeah, I thought it was before to back.
I think it was always here. I think it was always going into the just before the swimming pool. I think it was.
Yeah, but once again, I could be completely delusional. But yeah, the safety car is going to be in this lap. Ramp and a few of the drivers at the back of the train have not completely caught up to the field yet. There are a few splits between Ryan B. as Jav as well, but Goldie will lead us on to lap 12 as the safety car is now in the pit lane. He can go whenever. He's going to punch it out of Anthony Nogues, and he's using his overtake. It's going to be very, very difficult to get that back if he decides to use an absolute ton of it, but Frosty Calvin will be the first driver to lead him away. Camel and Major Falcon looking to do battle into turn 1, but the Haas driver not going to be close enough to the back of the Ferrari to possibly make that move. Sam T looking to challenge Ryan B, who is a little bit further off the back of the train under the safety car restart, but he did 1.3 seconds back as there's a safety car, or not a safety car, there's a yellow flag at after turn 1. That's Marty, who's had a little bit of an off. Well, he can't go off, but he's had a little bit of a spin, so that's not going to be good for him. Jordan United Bosnia switching positions. I think, Jordan has just gotten past the Red Bull driver there down into Mirabo. So yeah, now Goldie leads us away. Let's see what what's going to happen in the lead of this race, as well as Brandon 1.5 seconds back. He still has the pace on the train behind, but Camel has those hard tires on, but he's just not able to compete with Frosty Calvin and Goldie out in the lead of this race.
Yeah, of course, Frosty Calvin's got 8 lap pressure tyres. They're basically 11 lap pressure tyres, because all those laps he's done so far have been under the safety car. So
Major Falcon is into the wall at the second swimming pool chicane. He just ghosted there, but he has lost a ton of his end plate, so that's his race almost completely ruined. Just letting his teammate though, trying to get into the pit lane, so Jab will have to back out of that one. But no, Jab and Ryan B going side by side, but now Anthony Nogues, the Haas driver, has to back out of that. He made contact with the wall, but Sam T is picked up damage as well. Virtual safety car. Storm
Wow.
tried to make the move on the McLaren driver. So yeah, one driver picking up wing damage and it affected almost the entire second half of that DRS train. Or, well, not DRS train, but has completely affected the second half of that train.
Yeah, Major Falcon got all out of shape and he was trying to come into the pits, but he had Jav on his inside and he just tried to bully his way through, and Jav had to stop on track basically just so he wouldn't get collected or brought into the pits. So yeah, all kicking off down at the safety car restart at Mira or at Raskas, and this is what's going to happen now. People are going to get desperate. They want to start making moves. They're going to go for stuff that isn't really on. So I'm expecting a few more front wings. I think Sam T unfortunately got caught up in the middle of that. Go back to green flag racing. Sam T got caught up with the Jav and Major Falcon incident. He now has right end plate damage. So that's going to be a big struggle for him for the rest of the race because he doesn't want to pit again. So he's probably going to stay out and just have to deal with that for the rest of the race.
Yeah, right now, Alt Maverick putting in the chat that he tried to go fast in the pit lane and ended up hitting the wall and lost a front left tire. So, yeah, unfortunate for the McLaren drivers. Jav just made a little bit of a mistake there out of the first swimming pool chicane and has hit the wall on the exit of the second swimming pool chicane, but as DRS is enabled, as the two leaders have crossed the start-finish line to bring us on to lap 14 right now. For Goldie and Frosty Calvin lead us away, but Brandon, even with that wing damage, is still staying onto the back of them, but Camel on those hard tires seems to really be struggling. But once again, it is Monaco and seems to have the pace over the drivers behind.
Yeah, you got to have a big pace to get through the cars, even with worse tires or whatever. So Camel's doing a good job at the moment. The longer he keeps those guys behind, the better his tires are going to be. But yeah, Frosty Calvin's not really managing his ERS well here. He's only got 46% compared to Goldie's 97. So he's got to be careful about it. You don't want to use too much because it is very difficult to gain it back here at Monaco. So he's got to buy his time. He's got nothing to worry about. Goldie has to pit again. So he's fine. As Vagabond's going to have a look down the inside. Ooh, he thought of having a look down the inside of the Nobel chicane. Checo Perez-esque from back in the McLaren days, thought better of it. So he keeps in 5th position. But yeah, you can just see the pace advantage that Bag of Bones has over Camel, considering those hard are just not the greatest tyre here at this track. But yeah, Frosty Calvin's right up the rear wing of Goldie this time. He might have a look now into Sam Devot. He's going to use all his overtake and DRS. No heroics into Sam Devot, not this time around. Gives him a little tap. And no, he's going to stay behind for the time being. He's going to have a look, maybe possibly up into the Casino Square. He's going to have the inside line. This is going to be very close. They touch. It's still. Ooh. Careful, boys. Into Casino Square. He's going to still by side. And Goldie just hold on for the time being. Getting very, very close to hitting the wall there. Both of them there. So this is the issue at Monaco. Great wheel-to-wheel racing. But Frosty Calvin has got to play on the cautious side. Play the number game. So yeah, Goldie's not going to give it up without a fight. That's clear to see now.
Yeah, Goldie's going to be trying to make it too. I'm guessing around lap 27-ish. You can take those soft tires probably around 10 to 12 laps. Camel Bag of Bones once again getting very close down into the Neuville chicane, but a battle I was riding on board with when Frosty Calvin and Goldie decided to go side by side through Mahasane with Sam T and Jav, the joint championship leader, really struggling behind Jav, who has picked up a 3-second time penalty on the previous lap. So he's going to be struggling to stay within track limits here, but is keeping Sam T behind Goldie. Frosty Calvin out to the lead of the race. The AlphaTauri has backed off just a little bit because Goldie has 60% ERS going down to Sandoval, but the AlphaTauri just does not have the ERS to try and contend with him. It's very difficult to get that ERS back because there are not many very difficult braking zones here. Monaco is quite you can carry a lot of speed through the corners, so not going to be very many huge braking zones. One of the big braking zones is here into Mirabeau, and the other one is and down into the Neuville chicane. So only 2 of them, but Storm and Jav. Has Jav made a mistake? Does he have front wing damage? I think he's missing a left end plate, so that's possibly why he's going to be dropping down the field. Sam T, Storm, Callie, all going to be getting past. He's letting Jordan through. I think that's respectful from Jav. He does have that damage, so he's not going to be as quick as the drivers behind. He doesn't want to ruin races, but the now battle for the lead. Is Frosty Calvin going to be close enough? Looks for it, but he's not going to be close enough to send one up the inside of the Williams driver, and has a little bit of a slide there on the curb, just getting beached ever so slightly, so maybe running low and very low ride height there for the AlphaTauri. But yeah, Jav wanted to take it slow at the beginning of this one, but ended up in the wall.
He's not really doing himself any favours, really, is he? As Frost Calvin still right on the rear wing of Goldie, the Williams driver. And this is the issue with the ERS. The ERS management has been good for Frosty Calvin, and it's biting him, coming back to bite him now. As you can see, he just can't get close enough. He doesn't have the ERS to use to get alongside Goldie to make him move. And to be fair to Goldie, he's doing a really good job here at the moment. So, like when he pits, he is going to come out in. If he can stay out for a bit more, like going to have to stay out for a lot longer if he's going on to set softs, another 10 laps. At the moment, he's going to put himself around 13th position. So if he can keep going and keep the lap times up, he could sneak into the top 10 with an overcut. So that's something to watch out for. It's just the gaps between him and the midfield, because obviously he's going to be looking at that himself. So yeah, interesting. The Frosty Calvin might have a look into the Nouvelle chicane. Not going to be close enough once again, and he's absolutely used all of his overtake. And this is letting or keeping Brandon behind close enough, even with that damage. So it's, although Goldie isn't really in the fight for the lead, he's making it a battle for everyone else as Camel has dropped off, but Brandon gaining right up the Frosty Calvin.
Yeah, Forza Brendan has just picked up a time penalty at the second swimming pool chicane. I think Storm has possibly picked up damage because he's really struggling. He was right on the back of Samty. Yeah, he has picked up end plate damage on the left side of his black Mercedes. So yeah, he's gonna be struggling. I saw the gap. It was really close. That battle was was close behind Jav when both of them were behind the Haas driver. But right now, Frosty Calvin trying to make a move. Goldie really defending that one, but he's right into the back. Is the Alpha Tower into the Williams? He's right on the gearbox of the Williams driver. Is he gonna try something in the mirror? But riding on board with the Alpha Tower, he's not going to be close enough to make that move. Goldie defending it very, very well. Frosty Calvin super desperate to make that move, but Goldie defending absolutely perfectly so far from Frosty Calvin, from the net race leader. This is really affecting his race because Frosty Calvin arguably is possibly the fastest driver on the circuit. He was on pole position by half a second, and right now he's just held up behind Goldie, who started on these medium tires into the Nouvelle chicane. He's not going to be close enough. He's really low on ERS. Once again, that is not going to be helping him. And Goldie having an absolutely amazing defensive drive here is not making Frosty Calvin's race any easier.
Yeah, this is the biggest Williams you're ever going to see in your life. He is parking the bus like his life depends on it right now, but doing so, he has used a lot of overtake or ERS, so they are pretty similar now at this stage on ERS management wise. So yeah, it's very difficult. You can see for Frosty Calvin struggling to follow through Anthony Knowles. It's very difficult, and that's really only place he's got a chance is going down into Saint Devot. So he's got to make sure he's close enough. As far as Brendan is going to go side by. He backs out.
Yeah, that was very close. Yeah, that battle originated from Vagabonds trying to go around the outside of Camel at turn one. The Racing Point had to back off because the outside line there is not the greatest to try and make that move. So Camel defending his P4 on those hard tires, but he's able to stay with the top three just because, well, one factor is Brandon's damage as well as Calvin. And Goldie absolutely going at Excel Cali has passed CG Storm, the Mercedes with that wing damage, but Vagabonds has passed Camel, the Ferrari has ghosted. I'm trying to get an onboard look. Let's see if we can look from the back of Brendan. I don't think he's.
I'm not sure what's happened there. I was on board with Brendan, and he just went through him. Basically, I'm not sure what happened there. That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, Frosty Calvin, once again, he's been on the back of Goldie since the safety car, since this race has been restarted, but now Vagabonds is up into P4. Camel has dropped 2 positions on those hard tires. Let's see if he'll drop any further off the back of that train. Heated right in behind, trying to close him down. Forza Brennan and Vagabonds will not be onto the back of the leading trio. They have a little bit of a gap to close in, but I think they'll have the pace. They'll have that time to close down. We are on lap 20 of 39, so this race is absolutely starting to fly by, but it's not for Calvin because he's been stuck looking at the back of this Williams right now. So he's having I would say a frustrating race, but I think that's just scraping the top of the iceberg for Calvin there.
Yeah, he's just got to stay calm. Like, he is still leading this race. Goldie has to pit. He has to remember Goldie has to pit. So he doesn't have to do anything stupid. He just has to wait. Because he just has to make sure no one overtakes him behind. He doesn't have to worry about really overtaking Goldie. So yeah, he's still in a great position to win this race because Goldie, of course, has to pit. And yeah, so we just got to stay calm, and he should still be able to get this race win for the time being. As of course, Brandon has damage, and if he can get past Goldie, I think he can drop Brandon very quickly, as you've seen him do it already in the first stint. As yeah, you can clearly see Calvin's pace is just being hindered so much by Goldie's pace on those old mediums. He's literally pushing him around Raskas and Anthony Knowles. He's going to get actually a quite decent exit out of Anthony Knowles now. Down into Sam Devot. Side by side, he's going to have the outside line. Is goalie going to defend it? No, he backs out. So he finally gets ahead of goalie and takes back P1 and the lead of the race. And now he can get the hammer down and really pull a gap to the likes of Brandon and Vagabonds.
Yeah, but now Frosty Calvin, who's been in that dirty air of Goldie, obviously under the safety car, but he's been there for 12 laps. His tires are 12 laps old. So he's been used to driving in that dirty air. I wonder if he'll push too hard and possibly put it in the wall. He doesn't necessarily have to create a gap. It's a yellow flag in the last sector. That is United Bosnia has put in the wall. Oh, safety car. Oh, as well as Major, one of the Haas drivers who's retired. That's Jav.
Yeah.
So let's
Jav,
okay.
Yeah, I was on board with Jav. He hit the inside barrier going into the no-wheel chicane.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That is definitely a weird one.
This is going to help Goldie an awful lot. I want to say that it's not really. He's going to have to. He has to pit this time, and he has to go onto a set of hards, and that's not what he wants. He has to pit this time. Spag, if you're listening, pit. Tell him to pit. But yeah, there's no way he can hang out for another safety car. This is his only chance. He has to, and he is going to pit.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the issue. We're not putting under the first safety car. He has to go onto a set of hards now, and he's gained nothing by doing all those extra laps. All he has now is fresh tyres, but he's not going to be able to overtake. You've seen how difficult it was for Frosty Calvin to get past himself, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble here as he is the only one to pit, and he goes onto a set of hards, and he's going to be right at the back of the field, so that's not where he wants to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually one driver who didn't pit. Was Camel, who's on those hard tires. Obviously track position, as you mentioned, is very, very crucial here. Excuse me, but yeah, Camel, who decided not to pit, obviously track position very crucial here at Monaco. You could see he was able to hold Vagabonds and Brendan behind until that thing happened. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but something most definitely happened. So Camel's gonna stay out on those hard tires. I'm sure he can take it to the end. I'm sure he could keep heated Ryan D. All of those drivers who decided not to pit as well, I'm sure he can keep them behind. But right now, Goldie, from the lead of the race, is now only 2 positions behind Sam T. But Andy has fresher tires, so this could actually be pretty decent for the championship lead. Fighting against Sam T in the championship right now.
Yeah, this is going to be like they're not going to be gaining many points, but if they can get one up on each other, it's a win in their books. So people like Forza Brendan, who's had a horrid last couple of races, he can get decent results here and maybe get himself back in the championship picture, say for Frosty Calvin, as he's been controlling this race beautifully from the start. As it's going to be interesting to say at least. Goldie on those hards, they're not a great tire. We've seen it already with Camel, so he's going to have, even though he's got fresher tires, he's going to have a struggle getting past all the guys in front of him. So he's got a lot of hard work to do for these next 14 laps of racing, I expect, when the safety car does eventually come in. So he's got plenty of work to do now. Yeah,
most definitely. Let's just take a little bit of a look at the standings. So obviously Sam T. Goldie joint lead for those 2 drivers, but Sam T P8 right now, Goldie P10, so both of them are scoring points. I believe Sam T is scoring 5, or is it 6? I think it's 6, and Goldie's scoring 3, and Sam T is scoring 5. So there,
5,
we got there in the end. So right now, Sam T will take a 2-point advantage to Goldie in the championship. Heated, who's in P3, is up in P6. So I think he would be taking the championship lead if you were to outscore Sam by 5 points. He would take the championship lead off of Sam. Storm, who's not had the greatest of races, he's down to 14th, not scoring any points. Frosty Calvin, obviously in the lead of this race, so he could be a contender for taking taking the championship lead. Major Falcon, down in 13th. He's not scoring any points for the time being. Forza Brendan right now, P4 for the AlphaTauri team. So yeah, AlphaTauri having a massive scoring day right now. Ryan B in the Alfa Romeo, he's in 7th right now, so he's picking up a good haul of points as well. And then ISRL Jordan in P9, who is tipped for possibly having a good race. He's only picking up 1 world championship point for the time being. But right now, Williams, who leads the Constructor Championship, they're P6 and P10, but AlphaTauri, P1 and P4, they could possibly be taking that off of Williams.
Yeah, I think if they can keep this result together, they will definitely jump the Williams team in the constructors without a doubt. But I think it's going to be the last lap of safety car we will see, and then we'll go racing once again. And yeah, Goldie's definitely going to be one to watch out for. He's got to make a charge if he wants to get some good points. You can see his championship rival just a couple of places ahead, so that might give him some motivation to get past and get up near him. I expect Frosty Calvin to just drive away after the safety car restart, given Brandon still has that damage since lap 1. So he's going to be the buffer that he wants. So yeah, this down to Frosty Calvin. If he gets the safety car restart right, he should be able to control this race to the finish.
Yeah, most definitely. Once United Bosnia, who has just now caught up to the back of the field, we can get racing once again, going on to lap 25. It's going to be a 15-lap sprint to the end of the race, so it's going to be double of what the tire life on for Frosty Calvin, Brandon, Bagabones, Forza Brandon, Camel, Ryan B, and Ramp. They all have to do that 15-lap stint once again. Let's see if those drivers can pull it off. Frosty Calvin vigorously weaving under the safety car, trying to get temperature in those medium tires. Let's see how he can lead this one away, because he's not going to be stuck behind the Williams of Goldie.
No. Like I said, I think he's going to comfortably get a gap ahead of everyone else because of Brandon at the back, or not the back, sorry, in P2 holding everyone up. So, yeah, we still haven't got the safety car saying it's coming. Oh, it has, hasn't it? It has. Oh, yeah, it has. Never mind, sorry. I didn't realise the safety car was coming in this lap.
Yeah. Once again, United. Yeah.
Thought he went there. Sorry.
Yeah. Once again, United Bosnia a little bit off the back of the field, but he has eventually closed up. Frosty Calvin taking the qualifying line out of Anthony Alexander. A little bit of a slide, had to get off the throttle ever so slightly there, but he will be leading very, very comfortably out in P1 of the Monaco Grand Prix onto lap 25 for these drivers. Sam T, one of the drivers who didn't get the greatest of restarts. He's 1.2 seconds off of the top 7. Let's see if he can bring that one back. I think he still has that wing damage, so that's probably why he is struggling on that safety car restart. Goldie on those fresh hard tires right behind Excel Cali. It's 0.4 of a second between those two drivers. Jordan into the wall on the exit of a casino down towards Mirabo. Big bump there. You can spin it very, very easily. So Jordan will be dropping out of the points now, down towards P14, and will pick up wing damage. So not ideal for him. Ramp going a little bit wide out of Mirabo and down towards Portier. He's still in P11, but he's going to be challenged by Major Falcon, the Haas driver, using his overtake. I don't think he's going to be close enough unless Ramp, who is deciding not to use his overtake, the Haas driver, will switch to the inside. He's going to be able to make that move. Slightly backs out of it, but Ramp locks up into the chicane, but he's going to be keeping that P11, but doesn't have the greatest exit off the Nouvelle chicane. Side by side into back, but no, the Haas driver looking to try and possibly back out of it, but they're still side by side through swimming pool. He now has to back out of it, so Ramp will be keeping that P11, but cuts the second part of swimming pool, but I don't think Raskas, Major Falcon will be making that move, so Ramp stays in P11. A little bit more contact with the wall. But now, all he has to do is think about getting in front by Ramp. Big slide. And Major Falcon and Ramp have made contact. I'm not sure if the Haas driver has picked up damage. Doesn't quite look like it. I think the Ferrari might just have, but there's going to be yellow flag in Sector 3 because of that incident storm. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. Major Falcon has retired on track. Interesting.
Well, that's a straight pen for him.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's one of the easiest stewards decisions the stewards will get this weekend. But yeah, so just looking throughout the field, Ramp was caught up in that incident. I don't think he has front wing damage, amazingly enough, which is kind of crazy to think. But yeah, now looking a little bit forward throughout the field, Frosty Calvin has an amazing restart. He's already pulled 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, and Bagabones is really pushing Brandon at the moment. Brandon's having to use a lot of overtake to stick ahead, so Bagabone's got a chance here of getting ahead of Brandon. The longer the stint goes on, the worse the tire gets, the worse that front wing damage is going to affect his race. So, yeah, Bagabone's got a chance here. Of course, he's got that penalty looming over his head, so he can, of course, so he doesn't have to worry too much, because Forza Brendan also has a pen behind him. They've got to watch out for Camel, and he's already 2.5 seconds behind, so they should be able to get a 3-second gap to him. As I think Goldie's get very close to XL Kai at the moment, but he's not close enough to make an overtake, and this is the issue he's got. We were saying it a few laps ago, he's just not going to be able to overtake on those hard tyres. So, yeah, he's got a lot of hard work ahead of him, as Ramp is now retired in the pit lane, so that shouldn't cause any safety cars.
Yeah, we only have 13 runners now in Division 4 from a grid of 19. Obviously, Monaco will have that effect, but Goldie around the outside of Mirabo on Excel Cali. Can he get that move done? It would be an absolutely stunning move from the William driver. Side by side through the Lowe's hairpin. The William driver's on the inside. The racing point is going to be on the outside. Goldie trying to squeeze him, and he's made that move. Obviously, a little bit of wheel banging between the two drivers, but that's one of the tightest sections on the circuit. Goldie up into P9 makes a decisive move on Excel Cali. He's made his first overtake that he needs to in this race to challenge his championship rival in this one right now. He's only one place behind him, but it's 2.2 seconds between the two drivers. But Sam T has wing damage, so it's going to be easy, or should be easy pickings for Goldie. But once again, we did see after the first safety car restart, Frosty Calvin was almost impossible for the Alpha Tower to get past the Williams. Let's see if we'll have a little bit of reverse effect there. As Sam T is actually, it looked like he made a little bit of a mistake. He was completely opposite lock on a steering wheel, and he has lost a lot of time. So maybe hit the wall at Raskas on the inside, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. So Goldie gets a free second on the driver in front of him.
Yeah, Goldie's starting now to get the hammer down as the medium tires start to give off a little bit. Of course, like Sam T's been on those tires for 23 laps. Of course, a few laps under the safety car, but still, they are going to be feeling very, very second hand for now. As Bag of Bones is still all over the back of Brandon, he just can't get close enough to make a meaningful overtake. But Brandon's used a lot of overtake compared to Goldie, or not to Goldie, sorry, to Bag of Bones. He's on 10% compared to Bag of Bones 70%, and he's going to see that as he sees the red light flashing in the back of the Renault, telling him that he's derating. So Bag of Bones going to know that, and he's going to be hoping that he can get close enough to make a meaningful overtake or meaningful chance to do an overtake on Brandon. But of course now Goldie right up the back of Sam T into the back. He's going to really gain on this last sector, just where the front wing damage is going to hurt Sam T the most, and you can see it visibly already. Into Raskas, he brakes very late, and nearly goes straight into the back of Sam T. And this is opportunity now out of Anthony Nobes. Sam T gets all out of shape. Goldie's going to use it to overtake DRS, everything he's got. He's going to maybe send it into turn one. No, he's going to think better of it. Sam T covers off the inside line, so he's going to have to wait another lap to get past his championship rival.
Yeah, Jav in the chat just telling me to look at Jav's judgment, the second part of Division 4. He says Sam T will win, or Goldie will try to win, end up in catastrophe. So right now, Goldie in a little bit of catastrophe. Sam T into the wall there on the exit of Casino. I don't think he's picked up extra wing damage, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Goldie literally up the gearbox of Sam's McLaren. That's a little bit more exclusive than PG-13, but once again, Goldie, just make the move and we can stop having these non-PG-13 moments. But yeah, Frosty Calvin leads the race, 5.6 seconds to Brandon. Bag of Bones has to make this move if he wants to try and throw himself in the top 10 of this championship. Just looking at the standings while you were talking earlier on, he's P12 right now, and if he picks up that second place, he would more than double his current points total. So the Racing Point, this could be an absolutely crucial move for him. But right now, he has the ERS advantage just around 60% for the Racing Point driver, so he could possibly make that move. Heated and Camel getting very, very close down into Sandoval, but not going to be close enough for the Williams driver. It's two stories. It's two of the same stories for the two Williams drivers. Heated just in behind Camel on the hard tires, but Goldie right behind Sam T on with wing damage.
Yeah, it's just we've had two close back for 8 and seconds, and both of them, the leading drivers, have wing damage, and they're doing a fantastic job keeping the other car behind us. Goldie gets a great exit. He's going to send it. That's a big lunge. That is a lunge.
Ooh, and they're both on the wall.
Yeah, that's not the smartest thing by Goldie in the world, I have to say. That's desperation coming into play right there. That is just never ever. He puts himself into the wall. He does put himself into the wall going into the tunnel. But yeah, Goldie's clearly flustered right now, as that was not. We all know the hairpin is not an overtaking position. As I don't need to say anymore. I just don't think that was a great overtaking spot. I think Sam T went into the back of Goldie and given himself more wing damage. So yeah, I think Gold's going to get reported by Sam T for that nonetheless. But yeah, it's not going to really do much to Sam T's race now. He's got major damage to that front wing.
Yeah, Alt Maverick putting in the chat saying Goldie being Goldie. It was. opportunistic, I'd say, but it wasn't the greatest decision. Sam T into the pit lane, picks up a 5-second time penalty, and retires. So now we only have 12 drivers running in this Monaco Grand Prix. So if you finish the race, you will be scoring points in this one. But Goldie, not very legally, will be taking the advantage over Sam T if he does not end up retiring in the race. But now let's get up towards the front of the field. Brandon really derating here. He's using all the overtake that he can possibly, like all the overtake that he could possibly ever need or use. He's using it just on every straight that he could possibly can to pull away from Vagabonds in a straight line. But the Racing Point trying to close him down. Has used 20% of that ERS. It's very easy to burn. You can just hit one button and it'll be absolutely gone. Ryan B, I think, has just picked up wing damage, and Heated has picked up a 3-second time penalty. So maybe the Williams driver trying to go for a move. I think both of them in that incident have picked up wing damage. The Williams and the Alfa Romeo have both picked up wing damage. The left side end plate for the Williams, right side end plate for the Alfa Romeo. So Alpha Tower will really be extending their lead and the front of the Constructors' Championship that they will be getting on or at this round. Heated into the pit lane. Ryan B deciding to stay out. Storm, I think, is really close to the back of Cali going down towards turn 1, but the Mercedes driver, I'm not going to be close enough to make that one. So let's get back on board with this battle for second place.
Yeah, this is the battle to watch now till the end of the race. It's Vagabond v Brandon, like you were saying. But Brandon has literally no ERS, so all the cards are on Vagabond's side. He's got no wing damage. He's got more ERS. So all he has to do is overtake. It's quite simple, really, when you put it that way. But it is Monaco after all. As clearly we can already see, Frosty Calvin has checked out. So this is the battle for P2. And yeah, Camel on those hards completely dropped off. He's not even in contention to nick in a podium spot after the pens are applied. So he's going to be just hoping to keep out of the wall. But yeah, Vagabond's just right on the back of Brandon. He's got to get a good exit out of Anthony Nobles. He needs to be very close to the driver to have any chance to into Sandoval, and he's not. So this lap, that's another lap ticked off that he's not going to be able to get overtaken or overtake Brandon. So he's got to buy his time, put some pressure on Brandon. Hopefully he makes a mistake and he can get past, because that is the only way he's going to make a move here now, it seems.
Yeah, Frosty Calvin leading for most of this race from pole position. Obviously, the safety car did help him just a little bit, able to not come out in that traffic from the drivers who did start on the alternate strategy. Storm and Kala getting very close out of turn 1 and up the hill towards Massenet. I don't think the Mercedes driver is going to be sending a move up the inside of the Racing Point. The Racing Point getting very loose off the top of Massenet and down the hill towards Mirabeau, but the Mercedes driver not close enough to make that one or even get side by side, possibly sending one up the up the inside of the hairpin, but no, he will not. He will have to be patient for another he'll have to wait for another opportunity to make that move, such as Vagabonds will have to be, such as possibly Goldie should have been. But Goldie up into P10 right now. He's going to be scoring 3 points so far in this race.
Ooh, as far as Brendan picks up another time penalty, but given the gap to Camel, it shouldn't matter too much. He still should be on for P4, but that's him out of contention of taking that third spot away from Vagabonds. As Brandon has been fantastically defended all race with that wing damage. He's done a great job. You just have to wonder, if he didn't have wing damage, what would the pace be like? As he's only 6 seconds off Frosty Calvin, even with damage. So pace he doesn't seem terrible with the damage, but obviously it is causing him to be a lot slower than he would want to be. But nonetheless, he's done a great job defending that second place for most of the race, and he's only got to do it for 5 more laps, and he's going to take home 18 valuable championship points. But Vagabonds is going to try and have something to say about it. I think if Vagabonds can get past him quick enough, he can pull a 3-second gap, but he's got to do it now because the laps are running out.
He doesn't even have to pull a 3-second gap. He has to pull a 5-second gap.
Oh, 5 seconds, sorry. Yeah.
Just in front of Brandon.
Well,
I think,
to be fair,
yeah,
you might get that removed if it's if it came under the safety car, or if he got hit, or so, maybe unless he sped, it could get removed. We don't know. So he could get that 5-second penalty removed. So he could. This could be a legit battle for P2. We do not know, but yeah, if it's 5 seconds, then it's going to be an awfully difficult task to do.
Yeah, considering Frosty Calvin has just led us on to lap number 35. Brandon and Vagabonds following 6.7 seconds behind the race, leading Frosty Calvin, who's looked almost unstoppable. There was a little bit of questions when he was stuck behind Goldie before the Williams driver was forced to make that pit stop under the safety car. But Frosty Calvin, after getting in that cleaner, after that second safety car restart, has been absolutely flying. That gap is 7 seconds right now. Heated has pit for a fresh set of soft tires, so he will be going for fastest lap, and he will be, if he does get that fastest lap, he will be retaining that point, considering he is in P12. And here at League of Europe, all the top 12 positions are point score, or you can score points. Goldie on the back of Jordan for P9. That's another battle they'll have to watch, as well as Storm versus Callie for P7. The Mercedes driver trying to look for an opportunity to make that move, but the opportunity has not arisen yet. Unlucky for him. But once again, back on the battle for P2. I wonder what Back of Bones can do. I'm sure it'll be somewhat of the same story to the end of this race, but it would be interesting to see if the Racing Point could maybe sneak his way by.
Yeah, but as the laps tick over, it's looking increasingly unlikely that he's going to be able to get the move done. Brandon just seems to have him covered. It doesn't seem to be... Bag of Bones is just struggling to get even close. You could see earlier on when Frosty Calvin was all over the back of Goldie, there was a clear pace difference. It doesn't seem to be that here, as Goldie picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to really cost him. Bosnia is right behind him as well, so that's going to cost him a place, and he could end up in P11, only picking up 2 points. And this is another thing about Goldie. He's had 3 chances now to capitalise on Sam T not scoring points, and 3 times he hasn't really taken it. Of course, in Russia last week, it was sort of out of his control with the collision with Brandon. But today, just a wrong strategy call has put a slight dent into his championship battle, or championship hopes. But, with Sam T not scoring points, of course, he can take the lead. But yeah, it's not what he wants. He wants more than scoring than a handful of points. So he would have been hoping for a better race. As Vagabond seems to be struggling a little bit. He's fallen off the back of Brandon ever so slightly. He's nearly out of DRS. So just credit to Brandon where credit is due. He's drove a great race with damage, so pace is definitely there, and it's just a shame he does have damage, because who knows what he could have done without it.
Yeah, most definitely. It would have been absolutely crazy to see if there was a possible battle for the race win here at Monaco, but right now they got 7.5 seconds after, I believe we've done 12 out of the 15 laps they were supposed to do after the safety car restart. So yeah, Brandon driving an amazing race in this one. Daniel Ricciardo from 2018-esque, if you want to put it if you want to compare it to real life. Obviously, he doesn't have engine damage or a compromised engine. He has a compromised front wing, so the Renault will be in P2 for the time being. I wonder if Backbones could possibly put up a challenge for that second place, but I don't think he's going to be able to accomplish that. Brandon, actually, after being very low ERS, he's not been really challenged from Vagabond's behind. Vagabond's the Racing Point driver, has 35% ERS, but Brandon just there used a little bit just to ensure that he wouldn't be overtaken. Forza Brennan is putting on a late charge as well. He's starting to close on to the back of Vagabonds. He's been close since the safety car restart, but just not able to really pressure the Racing Point, but he's starting to be there right now. If he were to pass Vagabonds, he would have to pull a 1 second gap, and that is before Vagabonds could possibly get that time penalty removed. Storm and Callie getting close down towards the New Vale chicane. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make that move, but that's been the story for around half of this race since that safety car restart. Goldie onto the close to the back of Jordan as well, but he's half a second back, not going to be close enough. A good run through New Vale, though, but once again, into the back is not an overtaking spot. So let's get on board with the battle for P2 once again. It's what we've been saying for the last 5 to 10 laps, but yeah, it's these battles are close, but not close enough.
Yeah, this is the issue with Monaco. This is why no one enjoys racing Monaco. It's well, there is no racing, it's just driving, really. In any other track, Bag of Bones would have no issues getting past Brandon and moving his way down the road, but of course here that's not happened at all. And it's a shame we haven't had too much battling going on, but it's Monaco, it's just the way it is, as you only got one more lap to endure this track, and then it's done, thankfully for the drivers. But yeah, I think Bag of Bones he's done. He's not going to be able to get the overtake done. Gaps 9/10. He's not going to be able to get that, as Frosty Calvin leads us on to the final lap of the race. A dominant displays over 8.5 seconds ahead. He's just got to bring this home, and this race win should be his.
Yeah, most definitely. Division 1 has just finished, so go check out the results there from James said, and I believe V8 is commentating there as well. Division 3 has finished as well. They're in the podium celebration, so you can go check out the results there. We are on the final lap here for Division 4. Frosty Calvin coming through the Lowe's hairpin. Battle for P2 is very, very close. They're within a second, or 1.1 seconds of each other, but once again, it's just not close enough at Monaco. Storm coming out of Anthony Noakes. He's half a second behind Callie, but once again, it's been the story of this race, just not close enough. Goldie as well, close to the back of Jordan coming out of that final corner, turn 19. But as we mentioned, he's not going to be close enough. He was close up the hill towards Massenet on the previous lap, but once again, here, it just didn't have enough momentum. He has picked up wing damage now, going side by side. Ooh, through Beau Rivage, a little bit of contact, squeezed into the wall. Was the Williams driver, but Jordan, I think that's fair from him. He's not going to let Goldie pass, even though Goldie does have that time penalty. But Frosty Calvin coming through Raskas, coming through turns 18 and 19 for the final time. Out of Anthony Noakes, it's going to be the win for the AlphaTauri driver by 10.5 seconds for him. Spins across the line. Frosty Calvin will take his first race win of the season, his second podium of the season. Winning from pole position is the AlphaTauri driver. Brandon leads home in second place. Bagabones will picking up the final spot on the podium. Forza Brendan bringing home a solid result for AlphaTauri for a 1-4 for the Red Bull Junior team. Campbell leading a strong race into P5 for the Ferrari driver on those hard tires. He was able to deal with the competition and finished in that P5. Ryan B in a lonely 6th spot there in the Alfa Romeo. He's actually picked up a 5-second, no, that's an unserved 5-second time penalty. Callie and Storm are going to be close on track, but not close enough in that. Actually, Ryan B with that time penalty, Callie has jumped up to 6th. Storm had a few time penalties as well. He is not going to be jumped by Jordan. Goldie, who's had an incident in the final corner, has dropped the position to United Bosnia out on track, but so Heated is going to be the final driver. Let's get up that fastest lap, if I can find it. Fastest lap. He has not gotten it. He was 2/10 off Major Falcon, who DNF'd or did not finish in this race as the fireworks go off here in the midnight lights of Monaco. He will be finishing this race with 1 point to his name. But Frosty Calvin, absolutely dominant in that one.
Yeah, cannot fault the guy. He drove a brilliant race from lights to flag, and hopefully we can see a few more races from him like that. We call the AlphaTauri's qualifying merchants. Well, he shown today he's not just a qualifying merchant, he's also can be a race merchant when the situation goes in his favour. So, yeah, great race by him and by the two podium finishers of Brandon, especially getting that second place with damage from lap 1, and of course Bag of Bones with a great result for him. So, yeah, this just once again blows the championship wide open in Division 4 and still doesn't seem to be a clear leader of the pack as we go into round 6.
Yeah, after 4 rounds, the top 9 were separated by, I think it was 13 points. So, yeah, absolutely crazy gaps between these drivers. Division 4, the most competitive division in terms of points in the standings after 4 rounds, and now probably after 5 rounds in League of Europe PS4 F1. But Frosty Calvin takes the advantage tonight. 10.3 seconds. He won the race by 52.15 for the AlphaTauri driver, his final lap time. Brandon Bagabones will round out the podium. Bagabones with a solid drive from P5 onto that podium. Forza Brendan and Camel will be finishing 4th and 5th. Excel Cali with a great drive as well as Ryan B and Storm starting from 14th, 12th, and 16th for those 3 drivers. Jordan as well, 17th to 9th. United Bosnia picking up 3 points for Red Bull Racing. Goldie and Heated will be finishing, or they'll be the last 2 finishers in 11th and 12th. They'll be picking up 3 points between the 2. So not the greatest day for Williams, but a great day for AlphaTauri. The non-finishers were Sam T, Ramv, Major Falcon, Jav, Marty, All Maverick, Spectron, Don, and Major Falcon in P15 picked up fastest lap with a 1:11.827. Yeah, so that's the race for Division 4 over. Go check out Gary and myself in 7 minutes or 6 minutes at 2:10 or 3:10 Eastern. I think that's going to be 8:10 British time. So go check us out. Then that stream will be starting very, very soon. Then we have to go. That's been all, folks.